Okay, so today is July 19th, 2026. This is a sad day. It's the last day I get to drive my car. My car is a red 2007 Audi A4. I call her Ruby. I've had Ruby for a super long time. She's been with me through everything. First dates, late night snack runs, you name it. Driving her just feels right. The seats are worn in perfectly, like my favorite old armchair. I know every single noise she makes. That little rattle when I turn left? That's just Ruby saying hello. It feels like saying goodbye to my best friend. I decided to take Ruby for one last spin around town. I drove past all my favorite places. I went by the movie theater where I saw my first big blockbuster. Then I drove past the park where I used to hang out with my friends after school. Each street and every corner held a memory with Ruby. I even stopped at the drive-thru for a final milkshake together. I know it sounds silly to share a milkshake with a car, but it felt important. Ruby has been more than just a machine to me. She's been a part of my life's story, a silent witness to all my ups and downs. I found myself just sitting in the driver's seat in my driveway. I didn't want to get out. The smell of the old leather and the faint scent of stale French fries was comforting. I ran my hand over the dashboard, tracing the cracks that had formed over the years. Each one told a story. I remembered the time my little brother dropped his action figure and made that first tiny crack. I even cleaned her one last time, polishing the red paint until it shined, trying to make her look her best for her final moments. It was my way of saying thank you for all the adventures. As the sun started to set, I knew my time with Ruby was almost over. It was a really hard feeling to explain. It's like when you finish a really good book and you have to close the cover for the last time. You're happy you read it, but you're also super sad that it's over. I gave the steering wheel a final pat. "Thanks for everything, old friend," I whispered. I grabbed my stuff from the glove compartment, took one last look back, and slowly walked away. It felt like a piece of me was staying behind with the car. So the reason I had to say goodbye to Ruby is kind of crazy. My family said she was too old and not safe anymore. They decided she needed to be recycled. That's the nice word for it. The next morning, a giant truck with a massive claw showed up at my house. I watched from my window, feeling sick to my stomach. Two guys attached some big cables to Ruby. It felt like they were taking a part of me. I couldn't believe this was really happening. My awesome red Audi was about to become a metal pancake. The claw lifted Ruby into the air. For a second, she looked like she was flying, just like in all those cool car movies. But this wasn't a movie, and there was no happy ending for her. The claw dropped her into the crusher. I shut my eyes. I couldn't watch, but I could definitely hear it. There was a horrible crunch sound. It was the loudest, sickest noise I've ever heard. It was like a giant stepping on a soda can, but 1,000 times worse. My whole body tensed up, and I think I might have stopped breathing for a second. When I opened my eyes, Ruby was gone. All that was left was a small red cube of metal. It was a total gut punch. I felt completely empty. It was like watching a bully destroy your favorite toy right in front of you, and you can't do anything to stop it. I know it's just a car, and people get new cars all the time. But this was different. This was my car. It had character. It had a soul. Now, it was just a block of scrap. I felt a lump in my throat, and I had to fight back the tears. I just stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where Ruby used to be. The driveway looked so empty and sad. It felt wrong. I thought about all the miles we had driven together, all the songs I had sung at the top of my lungs on the highway, all the secrets I had told inside that car, as if it could hear me. It was all gone in a few seconds. I went back to my room and just flopped onto my bed. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to be alone and mourn my car. The next morning, on July 20th, I was still feeling pretty down. My mom told me to come outside because she needed my help with something. I figured I had to mow the lawn or take out the trash. I was not in the mood. I dragged myself out the front door, and that's when I saw it. Sitting in the driveway right where Ruby used to be was a brand new car. It was a silver 2026 Hyundai Sonata. It was so shiny that I could see my own shocked face in the paint. It had a giant red bow on the hood. My whole family was standing there smiling. "Surprise!" they all yelled. I was totally confused. I just stood there with my mouth hanging open. My dad walked over and handed me a key. It wasn't an old regular key like Ruby's. It was one of those fancy key fobs. "It's yours, Greg," he said. "We knew how much you loved your old car, but it was time for an upgrade, something safe and reliable." I couldn't believe it. I thought they were just being mean by crushing my old car, but this was their plan all along. I walked slowly toward the Sonata, almost like I was in a dream. I touched the hood. It was so smooth and cool. It didn't have any of the dings or scratches that Ruby had. It looked like a spaceship compared to my old car. My mom opened the driver's door for me. "Go on, check it out," she said. The inside smelled like, well, a new car. It was the best smell ever. The seats were perfect. The dashboard was all digital, and it had a huge touchscreen in the middle. It was like stepping into the future. I sat in the driver's seat and put my hands on the steering wheel. It felt so different from Ruby's old, worn-out wheel. Everything was so clean and modern. My little brother was already in the back, pushing all the buttons. I looked at my parents, who were watching me with big grins. I was speechless. One minute I was mourning my old car, and the next I was sitting in this incredible new one. I felt a huge wave of gratitude wash over me. I couldn't stop smiling. It was the best surprise ever. My dad told me to take the new Sonata for a drive. I was a little nervous. It felt like I was cheating on Ruby, but as soon as I pushed the start button and the engine hummed to life without a single rattle, I started to get excited. I backed out of the driveway and the car was so quiet and smooth. Driving it felt completely different. There was a backup camera that showed me everything behind the car on the big screen. Ruby definitely didn't have one of those. I had to actually turn my head to see where I was going. I decided to take the same route I drove on my last day with Ruby. I drove past the park and the movie theater again. But this time, it felt new and exciting. The Sonata handled so well. It was responsive and felt super safe. I connected my phone to the car's Bluetooth, which was a piece of cake. In Ruby, I had to use a clunky old adapter that barely worked. Now, my favorite songs were blasting through a crystal-clear sound system. I rolled down the windows and let the wind blow through the car. I was starting to really like this. This first drive was special because my dad came with me. He showed me all the cool features, like the lane keeping assist and the smart cruise control. It was like the car could almost drive itself. We talked the whole time, not about the old car, but about all the new places I could go with this one. He told me he was proud of me. It was one of those rare moments where you feel really connected to your parents, and it's not totally awkward. Having him there made the first drive in my new car even more memorable. By the time I got back home, I was completely sold on the Sonata. I still missed Ruby, and a part of me always will. But this new car was amazing. It represented a new chapter. It wasn't just a replacement, it was an upgrade in every way. The surprise, the amazing new technology, and sharing that first drive with my dad made it an unforgettable day. I realized my family hadn't taken something away from me. They had given me something better, and I couldn't wait to see what adventures my new Silver Sonata and I would have together.